Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back again. Back again. Shabbat shalom. And we back again with another teaching. And this teaching, um, it's again we're talking about what is, trying to figure out what does the Most High require, for from a woman. And this is the second part to this. Yes,
Con,
sir. And
con.
now I'm gonna turn it over to T1 and you do your thing there, man.
All right. Well, before we go any further, I do want to say, man, we appreciate the support that we've been getting from everyone that have been tuning in to the show, different ones who have been leaving comments. Um, After the shows, we just ask everybody, like I say, like, share, subscribe. We appreciate you. It goes a long way for us. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Elijah on the beat. Shabbat Shalom. So, yeah, just like the brother Hondo was saying, we're in part two of Know Your Role for the women. And if you have tuned in for all you that tuned in and for all you that have not tuned in, as you know, we talked about the role for the man. We did a two-part series for that. Now this is our second part for the women. Then we will get into the children, Israel as a whole, and the other nations and what their role is as a whole. So, like I say, stay tuned. Stay tuned. But today we are on our second part of Know Your Role for the women. And this is for women in the household as well as not in the household. And then we will also do a brief synopsis of all the classes that we have done. Basically, a quick rundown at the end of all of it. At the end of all of it. All right. So, what I want to do, Hondo, if that's okay, I'm going to pull out a scripture.
Yes, sir. That'll work.
All righty. And just to start this off, this was something that we talked about kinda in our last segment. We didn't get a chance to really get too deep into it, but we're going to get into it today. And it's basically in the book of Numbers, and we're going to read from chapter 1 through 16. So if you're trying to keep up with any of the scriptures that we bring out, just look into the chat, and there will be the scriptures for anybody that's trying to find the scriptures. You can look in the chat. So we're going to be reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 30, verses 1 through 16. And I'm going to do a breakdown of it as I go. All righty. So it says in Numbers chapter 30, verse 1, and Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord have commanded. So this was something that Yah himself commanded. Okay, verse 2, it says, if a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because there has been this thing in Israel where a lot of people talk about marriages and how, what is the proper procedure for marriages. And as we have talked about other classes about, watching your mouth and things like that. You can look at them in the profiles on the YouTube. We talk about how your words hold a lot of power. So now in verse 2, it's saying that if a man is basically making a vow to bond his soul before the presence of the Most High and even to the Most High, right? It says that he shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. He cannot break his word, okay? So if I vow a vow, okay, and I say, you know what? And I talk to, let's say, a woman's father, and I say, I'm going to protect your daughter. I'm going to, provide for her. I'm going to be an honorable husband. These things I have to hold on dear to because they came out of my mouth. I have to be a man of my word, okay? But now watch this. It says in verse 3, if a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord and bind herself by her bond, by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth. Okay, so if this woman is young and she's still living with her father and she vow a vow, she say something with her mouth. Let's see what happens. Verse 4. And her father hear her vow and her bond wherewith she have bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand. Okay? And every bond wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand. So if this woman opens her mouth and her father, in the day that he hears it, if he holds his peace, if he don't say nothing about it, then she gonna have to follow through with everything that's been said out of her mouth. Okay? Verse 5. It says, but if her father disallow her in the day that he hear it, not any of her vows or her bonds wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her, because her father disallowed her. This is very powerful for you women, because what you have to understand is that when the Most High made a woman and put her in her father's home, her father is now her hedge of protection. He is the head of the house. He is her covering, okay? And this is proven. Anything that the man says, he is bound by. But anything that the woman says, if her father says, no, she's not going to do that. It don't matter if she swear on a thousand stones, if she swear on her great grandmama's grave, if she swear before God, even when they say this, it says, if a woman even vow unto the Lord. So now here it is. If her father disallow her, the Most High is going to forgive her. Why? Because her father disallowed it, which this is what we're seeing in verse 5. Watch this. Now, something interesting happens when you come from the father to the husband, okay? Now, as you can see, when we're talking about this, we're not only talking about women that's in the household with their own family, but we're talking about women that's in the household under their father's family. But now something different happens in verse 6. And it reads, and if she had at all an husband when she vowed or uttered aught out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul. Verse 7, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. So now remember, this is Yah speaking to Moses to tell the children of Israel, this is the rules. This rule may not go for everybody that's in the world, but this goes for Yah's children. So if you consider yourself a child of Yah, you're going to follow his laws. And one of his laws is, if your father hears something and you swear, and he say, you know what, you can stand by that, then you stand by it, and you have to stand by it. But if your father say, no, that's not, we ain't running with that, we're not rolling with that, then guess what? Anything that you say is now null and void. Anything that you do outside of that now, you have become a wicked woman. But now when we look at this in verse 6, it says, if her husband, right, do the same thing that the father has done, and he allows her, then it's going to stand. But if he don't, we're going to see what happens. Verse 8. What happens if he does not want her to keep her vow? Verse 8, it says, but if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect. That means zero. And the Lord shall forgive her. So, women, the reason why that's happening is because now your father, in a true marriage, what a lot of Israelites don't understand, is not about who you lay in. It's about bonds, okay? About bonds. So now,
I got a question.
go ahead.
Which ain't a question I know the answer, but I'm just putting it out there. So what people have to understand is if a father says, no, you can't have my daughter for marriage to even make a vow unto the Most High, that marriage ain't even real to the
Con,
Most High's eyesight.
con.
He has to give that his daughter over unto that other man because he is her head. He is her covering. And if the man said, no, I don't accept, this marriage, that marriage on it ain't even considered real in the eyesight of the Most High.
That's absolutely right, Hondo. That's absolutely right. And we actually see stories like that in the Bible where you have women, when women don't lay with men, they are virgins. So now if this woman is laid up with this man and she loses her virginity and the father finds out in that day, we've seen stories in the Old Testament where the father says, "Hey, I don't want you with my daughter." And now that man has to pay the father I think it's called a bill for or a token for virginity. He
Right,
has to pay that now. I'm gonna try to find that scripture if I can. But these are things that's really happening in the Bible. It's just like you said. If a man decides or a woman decides, hey, I'm gonna run off and elope with you, that's not an Israelite tradition. Okay, that is a European tradition. Ain't nobody running off and eloping. These things have to be agreements and everybody has to be involved. Okay, so if you're thinking that you're gonna take, and then now you may have some people who will say, well, my daddy ain't in my life, or my daddy is dead and my granddaddy is dead. Well, now it falls on his oldest son or his brother. Now if you don't have an uncle that can do this, guess what, you need to have a brother. And it goes so on and so forth,
right,
where you go to the cousins and the different things of that nature. But somewhere
right,
down the line, there is going to be a man in the family on your daddy's side. The Most High that's just the way it works. You're not going to have a family full of just 100% females. Okay.
right,
You see what I'm saying? So the Most High has already put plans in place for all the questions that you all may have on how to disregard somebody telling you who you can and can't marry. Okay. Uh,
right,
so yeah, it's just like he said. If your father didn't want you to lay up with this guy and he finds out, um, he can actually nullify that marriage, and that marriage was null and void because there was
facts.
no agreement made. And then not only that, but we're going to read in the Apocrypha later on where you have to get all things in writing. Okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna find that as well.
All right. Why you finding that? I'm gonna say this. It's a lot of people like I was talking to somebody at work and this specific dude, he didn't want his daughter to marry this dude. Number one, because it was of the daughter was of another, they were two different nations. So he didn't agree with it. And in the Most High's eyesight, they not even married. They just fornicate. She, you know what I'm saying? Because his father didn't agree with it. The father, or like if just like you say, if there's no grandfather, no father, no uncle, it goes all the way down to the brother. Now, if there's no males in the family, that's different. Everything is on her then. But normally somebody got next of kin. And there's a whole nother uh wormhole to go down with that too. That's all I'm gonna leave it right there.
Con. Just to piggyback off what you were saying, if you go to Exodus 22, Let's go to Exodus 22. We're gonna hold this. We're gonna hold at 8 real quick, and we're gonna go to Exodus 22 and verse 16, and we're gonna read down because what Hondo said is very true. If a man don't want his daughter to be with this particular man that she's trying to so-called marry, right? He can nullify that, and we're going to see that in the scriptures.
Facts.
All right, so I wrote it
Shabbat
down.
shalom, y'all, mate.
All right, so this is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16 through 17, and it reads, "And if any man entice a maid that is not betrothed," okay? So now check this out. This is very important because a lot of people say sex is marriage, right? So this is a maid, okay? A maid is a woman, and that is not betrothed, okay? She's not married. She has not been taken. That means she is a virgin. Now watch this. That is not betrothed and lie with her. He shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now wait. If he lied with her, right? He's the way the world is said, or the way some of these people were saying, "Oh, I laid up in her now she's my wife right now." But the scriptures is saying, if you lie with her, he shall surely endow. Now he has to endow her to be his wife. Hondo, if you can you get the definition of endow for me while I read on?
All right.
It says, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Watch this, verse 17. If her father utterly refused to give her unto him. Okay, so now he just laid with this girl and didn't even ask the father first. The father has ownership of that girl. He has to take care of her, feed her, make sure she's healthy and all these other things. And this man comes in and lays with her. But watch this. If the father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. So now if the father say, no, you can't have my daughter, even though you have had my daughter, you have to pay for the virginity that you have stolen. You have to pay for that. He shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. The father refused to give her up. And that goes back into what Hondo was saying.
Now, the definition for endow means to provide with a quality, ability, or asset.
Right. So now you have to, so when we're reading this scripture and it says he shall surely endow her, he has to provide her with the things to become a wife. What's needed to become a wife? He has to come up with an agreement. He has to make a vow of vows, which we see in Numbers 30, to the father. But watch this. What if the father don't agree to his demands or his agreements? If he utterly refused, there is no marriage. Okay?
Thanks.
So this is for all you women who somebody may be telling you, oh, if we sleep together, we're married, No, that's what do we call that in America? When you with a person for so long, you don't really marry them, but you with them so long they consider you married. I can't think of the name.
Man, I forgot it too.
It's not real marriage. It's just, I guess you just married by time. I'm gonna just call
Common
it
law.
that. Common law. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yamea. Thank you, Yamea. But yeah, that's what it is. Common law marriage. That's not a Israelite thing that you're gonna find in the Bible. That's Americanized. That is Europeanized. So for all these Israelites who say, no, I can put my rod up in her, and I ain't got to go through America. You're going through America right now. You're going through America right now doing what you're doing. You're doing common law. That's what you're doing.
And common law, call not that common which the Most High has blessed.
Con. So now check this out. We're gonna go back to Numbers 30, and we're gonna read at 9. And I was gonna go all the way to 16, but I don't want to take too much time because I'm already in here, and we 20 minutes in. I want to drop that. But it says, verse 9. When we go back, Numbers 30, verse 9. It says, "But every vow a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. And if she vow in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand." Now check that out. If a widow make a vow, and a woman that's divorced, wherewith she have bound their souls, shall stand against her. So if a widow who may have possibly been divorced, she becomes a widow, that means her husband is no longer there. Hold on, it says, let me see what Yamea say. "We still have to abide by the laws of the land. When you die, the woman won't be able to have anything because she's legally not your wife." Yes, and we all have seen this happen. This is the reason why the Most High he's already set the table. We just got to learn how to eat at the table. We don't want to eat at the table. We want to eat on the floor like the dogs. But we'll show that later on in the we're going to show that on later on in the scriptures when we go through it throughout the classes. But this is true. There has to be agreements that need to be made so that the woman is protected. It's the same thing with a father. If he dies, his things go to his sons. Okay, so that woman's protection is getting out of her father's house into a husband that's going to provide for her. This is the same reason why when we read the scriptures talking about the man's role in our previous class, we showed even for the men that's deciding, hey, I want to have multiple wives, you can't diminish the first wife. You can't, if your wife is used to getting Gucci and eating at at Hibachi's all the time, you can't be like, oh well, no, now we got to eat McDonald's because I want a second wife and I can't afford to get both of y'all. Look, you don't need to have a second wife. Period. If now you got to say, well, no, if your wife is used to having her own room, a she shack, you can't be like, well, now both of y'all got to share it. It don't work that way.
Because you can't afford them.
Right, because you can't afford it. No. Either it's two she shacks or no wife. Either it's two Louis Vuittons or no wife. You're not going to diminish the one so that you can accommodate your second. It don't work that way. But you'll see that in our classes when we talk about know your role for the men. But getting back to it, so now when you find out, now you see that the widow, when she makes a vow, she no longer has that hedge of protection. Anything that come out of her mouth, she has to hold on to it. But watch this for the woman that's divorced. It says, "And if she vowed in her husband's house or bond her soul by a bond with an oath," verse 11, "and her husband heard it and held his peace at her and disallowed her not." Okay, so he didn't disallow her. Then watch this. "All her vows shall stand." But wait, they divorced. Why do we even care? Let's find out. It says, "And every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband have utterly made them void on the day that he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand. Her husband have made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her." Wait a second. They divorced though. Why the Lord gonna say, "Oh, your husband still say you can't"? Because guess what? When you made that first vow and you was relinquished from your father to that husband has now become your head one way or another. Disregard divorce, because even Yahweh Shai himself says Moses suffered you a bill of divorce. So who do we follow? Do we follow Moses or do we follow Yahweh? This is the question that we have to ask ourselves. Is Moses going to get you into the kingdom? Or is Yahweh going to do it? Okay? Verse 13, it says, "Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void." I'm gonna stop there because I want to keep going. I told Hondo I wasn't gonna go into none of my rants, but that's all I gotta say, and I think that's very important.
Oh, I'm just mediating today. I'm letting you run with it.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. I thought we were having somebody else, but one of the daughters of Zion, but that didn't happen. But you doing a great job, man.
The water. I appreciate it. The water. Con, y'all are in Numbers 30, right? Yes, we are in Numbers 30. Also, I wanted to get Ecclesiasticus 42, not Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus. So if you have your Apocrypha right now, we're going
Who
into,
some call Sirach.
yeah, some people call it Sirach. Some people call it Sirach. Okay. So we're going to go to Sirach 42 or Ecclesiasticus 42, which is in the Apocrypha. I'm going to write that down right now. Oh boy. I'm having a problem with this typing. I don't know why. All right, so we're going to Ecclesiasticus. For some of y'all, I'm gonna write that too. Ecclesiasticus equals Sirach for some of you all, because that's a good point Hondo made. Some people call it this, some people call it that. Okay. Hondo, you want to get that for me? Or you want me to go ahead and keep going?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
All right. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 42, verse 4 through 7. And it reads, of exactness of balance and weights, or of getting much of little, and of merchants indifferent selling, of much correction of children, and lo, make the side of an evil servant to bleed. Sure keeping is good where an evil wife is, and shut up where many hands are.
So now when you're looking at this, they're looking at how basically this is talking about merchants. When you're when you're trying to get the exact balance, the exact weight, whether you're getting a lot or a little, it's an indifference in sellings where you got correct children, or you could have evil ones. You can have evil servants. You can have basically in this, you can have something that's a good wife or evil wife, right? Where many hands have been. But no matter how much you deal with all these different types of selling, buying, getting, giving, right, which is like in the levels of a merchant, watch what this says in verse 7. This is the big thing. Watch this. Go ahead, Hondo.
All right, verse 7. Deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in.
So this is the thing we have to understand. You have some men who say, oh, I got a wicked woman, I want to give her away. Or I got a righteous woman, I think she's worth rubies and gold. Or you got some who will say, I had a woman that was a virgin, or I had a woman that wasn't a virgin. This is the reason why you had these payments. If you took virginity from a woman, guess what? You had to pay a dowry for the virgin because you took the virginity. So now that woman's the worth of that woman, I won't say the worth of it. That's exactly what it is, Yemaya. It sounds like a receipt to me. That's exactly what it is. And that's why it says deliver all things in number and weight. So if I'm talking to someone, a woman's father, and I'm like, hey, listen, I want your daughter to marry. He's gonna tell me, oh, my daughter ain't good at making chicken too well, but she make a mean mac and cheese. Or she may not know how to sew and stitch, but she sure know how to close up a wound if you get hurt. she's very frail, so she may not make the healthiest babies. Or, oh, you know what? My daughter, she kind of got a little bit of a mouth on her. These are things that you're supposed to find out. You're supposed to get everything in balance in weight of getting much or little, and of merchants in different selling, of much correction of children. We don't know if this woman had a lot of correction as a child. Okay. And the same thing vice versa. As a father, I need to know, are you an abusive husband? Are you a provider? Are you a drug addict? Are you a pimp? Are you all these different things? So
Are
agreements.
you drizzle?
Right. Are you drizzle? Right. Are you drizzle? You know? So I have to get all things in number and weight and put all things in writing that thou give out and receive in. Think about this. If I'm a dad and my daughter came out of me and my wife, she belongs to us. Why would I not get a something in writing if I gave her out? She's mine. If you take her as a husband, I have now given her to you. Okay. And then when we look into these stories, we find out, like, a lot of people say, well, Isaac never talked to the father. He didn't have to talk to the father. He sent his servant out, and the servant did the business part for him. Okay.
All right.
The servant went to the father. Look, I want this. My master is looking for a wife. The father, you know, he got the one daughter out there. She feeding the doggone camels with water. Then fed the servant with water. He said, you know what? That's the one that seems like the most humble. You know what? We're gonna give you spices. We're gonna give you gold. We're gonna give you all this fine linen for you and your wife. And even then, the father told his daughter, after the merchant, the servant wanted to take the daughter, and they made all their agreements. The father said, "No, you can't take her today, though. We still got some things we got to do." What happens? The merchant says, "Well, hold on now. I don't want my master to wait too long because his dad is getting ready to pass." So what the father do? He came to his daughter. He said, "Listen, if you want to leave today, you can, but if you don't have to." The daughter said, "You know what? I want to leave today. You see all the stuff he just gave us? I think he deserved to see me. I want to see who my husband is."
Right.
Look at that. She wanted to see who her husband was, but guess what? She still had her virginity. She still had
Right.
her all of these things, her virtue.
I got something to say.
Go ahead, Hondo.
Now, with us looking at these scriptures and looking at things, if you a father, now, if my daughters, when they come to the time of marriage, if I can't talk to his father, or just say a grandfather, or somebody that's, you know, a male that I know that he been raised properly to be a man, I can't give my daughter to him, to that guy. I can't do it. If now, in an extreme circumstance, and I talk to that guy who asked for my daughter's hand in marriage, if he just 100% and the Most High did something miraculous in him, and hey, that's a different story. But judging by the scripture and how we see things supposed to work, we can't just give our daughter to anybody, because we are responsible for their well-being and taking care of them. When we let them take a vow to be with this man, we allow that. When we give them over to them and they get things in writing like they supposed to, you know what I'm saying? We got to be leery of all those things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my thing on it. It ain't no just anybody that married my daughter, man.
Con. So now, as we read this now, we just saw now, and this is something that we have to understand. A lot of times, in society, especially in Western society, it's like the dream to just go get married and have a dog and have a house and have this wonderful job with all this land and no problems. But there is an order for us and there's an order for the other nations. The Most High deal with us specifically for a reason. Okay. Now, ideally, I'm gonna say in the Western civilization, you have women who their dream is to get married. Just because you want to get married, don't mean you're just supposed to jump through hoops and do all these things. The only hoops or the only process that you should be going through is Yah and his process. Okay. Any other way, and you, I mean, I'm not gonna claim that you're gonna fail, but you're gonna at least make it hard for yourself. You make it hard for yourself. And one of
Right.
why is because the same way how men deal with lust, fornication, and things of that nature. Guess what? A man can't fornicate unless he got a woman. So guess what that woman dealing with too? She's dealing
Right.
with lust and fornication. Her lust and fornication may not be, or his or her motivations may not be like his motivations. He may see a woman with curves and all these different things. She's going to see a man with status and all these different things. He's looking for the woman with the nice smile. She looking for the man with the nice muscles. Okay. Now you thinking you supposed to get married to this rich man with all these muscles and so famous, and then you find out, oh, this man is abusive. Now I got to try to run to my dad. Now I got this. Now I got that. Or vice versa. You may have the man. Oh, I got this woman. She's so curvy. All the men want her. You know, she got them wonton eyes, like the scriptures say, tinkling of the
Right.
and all this other stuff. But then you come to find out she done weakened you as a man. Okay, she has
And,
ruined you as a man.
and the scripture, when you know, the scripture tell you not to, you know, just desire a woman because of her looks.
Con,
There's, you know what I'm saying. You know, it when you talking about binding yourself to somebody else, man, that's a big step. And it's a lot of people have problems right now in their marriage because they unequally yoked with unbelievers, or they with somebody that don't understand what marriage really is. Marriage is a serious step to take, but you know, a lot of us took the step and didn't really understand fully what we were putting ourselves into. And there's the problems. That's why the problems come as
con,
bad as they do.
con. And I'm gonna tell you something else. This what a lot of people don't understand is when you read this apocrypha, like we read a lot of stuff, or he gay. Right, yeah, he could be gay or she a Jezebel. Right. But no, when a lot of people don't understand is the apocrypha holds a lot of keys when it's talking about what the role of a woman is, and giving insight on what um a good marriage or a good relationship is versus a horrible one. So like you could read in Sirach, like I think when we did the last class on women, we was reading in Sirach 25. But now when you read in Sirach 26, you find is more stuff that goes into that. So I want to pull that if that's okay with you, Hondo. I want to pull Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. I want to pull chapter 26, verse 1 through 6.
All right.
Really, the whole chapter is very, very heavy when it's talking about the roles of a woman and a man and their relationship as a whole.
Do you know what?
Go ahead.
I'm wondering. Now, this just a question I have in my head. So, if a man marries this woman, she has a child. The father never been in that child's life. He raised that child as his own. They ain't never had no other man in like the father dead or whatever, so forth, so forth. I get no. That goes back to the next of kin. I just thought about it. Never mind. Answer my own question.
Okay. Sometimes that's what it takes. You got to think about it out loud. All right. So what I did, I was gonna go 1 through 16, but I want people to understand that you can read from 1 through 29 and get a better understanding all the way together, because it talks about harlots, it talks about virtuous women, it talks about all these things. So when you read in Ecclesiastes chapter 26, you read verse 1, it says, "Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace." Okay? This is a big thing that women should understand. When you were called to get a husband, when you were called to even be created as a woman, you were created to be his peace and to fulfill his years. That's what a virtuous wife is. A virtuous wife ain't trying to bring hell to the house. She's trying to bring about peace. Okay? Watch this. Verse 3. A good wife is a good portion. Now, when we read in the last class, we saw that a wicked woman is given unto a wicked man. It said a wicked woman, and we can read this in verse 25 in chapter 25, verses 22 through 26. But now here it is, we in chapter 26. But it's talking about how a woman can make weak hands and feeble knees. A wicked woman is given into a wicked man. Okay. But now when we read this, it says, verse 3 again, a good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find a man that fear the Lord that's going to be getting with a sexy red type woman. If I read
Nope.
and I want my woman to be virtuous as and righteous like me, I don't want to show my body off. So guess what I don't want my woman to do? Show her body off. I don't want to show, I don't like, you know how the Bible says women should be shamefaced, right? So I'm not about to be out here flaunting my money and my riches and being prideful and then have my wife out here trying to look prideful and trying to, who you looking prideful for? Who you looking sexy for? Is it for me or is it for the world? As far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying go outside and go put a
For the
bonnet.
next man or
Right.
woman.
Exactly. We're not here to do that. We here, if anything, to please each other. If you want to be sexy red in the house. Be a righteous woman in the world. You know what I'm saying? We're not out here to please the world. I'm not here to make other women lust after me, and you shouldn't want other men to lust after you. Okay? Verse 4, it says, whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart towards the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. There be 3 things that my heart feareth, and for the 4th I was sore afraid. Now watch this. It says, the slander of a city, which we all know that's a horrible thing. Like I go to Chicago, everybody, sometimes people slander Chicago. Oh, it don't matter where you go in Chicago, ain't no good places. Everybody dying, everybody getting robbed. It's not true. Now that don't mean it ain't no bad things going on out there. It's bad things going on in New York. Some of your best neighborhoods, you got doggone neighborhoods with the other nations living in. They say it ain't no crime, but those may be sundown towns. But you ain't gonna catch no slander in those cities.
Facts.
Okay, so that's one, the slander of a city. Let's see what the other one is. It says the gathering together of an unruly multitude. We see that all the time. You go to these clubs, right? And all of a sudden, it's a shootout. It's a fight breakout. People stampeding each other. Now somebody got ran over and stumped to death, right? Unruly multitude. The next one, it says, and a false accusation. Boy, we done seen this over and over again. Where hell, we seen one with Emmett Till. The woman say, "Oh yeah, he whistled at me." False accusation. He ends up dying a horrible death. She wait till she on her deathbed to tell the truth. Now they got this one situation where everybody they was talking about just recently, O.J. Simpson. Oh, he possibly didn't kill his wife. The doggone pool boy possibly did. He was doggone mass murderer. But because everybody hated O.J. so much, they constantly want to give him false accusations.
Yep.
Now, how does that have anything to do with a relationship, T1? Why are you talking about O.J. Simpson and all these other people? What do they got? Because a lot of times when we go to our family in anger, you got women that say, oh, he ain't nothing but a dummy. He's not all this. He's not all that. False accusations because you're angry. You ain't going to say all the good things he done. You only want to bring out the bad. And now you done put out a bad image for your husband. And it's the same thing for some of these men. They put out false accusations for their wives. You don't see some men that say, yeah, I probably could have did something a little bit different. But my wife, no, they don't say that. They say, oh, my wife, all she do is nag all day. Oh, I can't. She probably nagging because you don't take the trash out. She probably nagging because you want to sit on the game all day. She probably nagging because the light bill is overdue and they just got the pink slip. And then you got till tomorrow to pay the bill. But we're not going to talk about that, right? Yemaya says, Khan, you got to keep your marital problems between you and the Most High. That's the truth. That's the truth. And if anything, the Bible says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Don't go to people who, and this is the problem that I have with all people. You got people who go and vent to people who ain't never been in a relationship. You got girls who'll be like, girl, let me tell you what he did. And they be like, girl, you better leave him alone. Whole time she probably want your husband. And maybe not your husband, but she want what it is that you got with your husband, the type of relationship that you got. She not gonna tell you that part though. She wants you to be, you know how they say,
Misery love company.
There you go. There you go. And it's the same thing for these men. You got some men, they be like, oh man, leave old girl alone. She don't want to do that. Let's go to the club and go find a way and catch a venereal. They ain't gonna tell it to you like that, but they telling you to go to the club. They ain't telling you getting ready to catch a venereal disease and you're a man. Come on, man. All right, let's and then it says, after it says that, it says where was I at? I done lost track.
Verse 6.
It says all these are worse than death. And watch what verse 6 says. It says, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. So what does that mean? When you have a heart that's full of grief, when you have a heart that's full of sorrow, when you know, some people, they like to go to work and they don't want to go home. They be like, man, I'd rather be at work working for Esau than to go home. Or you may have some women be like, you know what, I would rather do this than to have to deal with this man. Vice versa, the man with the woman. When you have a grief of heart and sorrow, it said, now this saying, it's just like, basically when it says, is a woman, is just like a woman that is jealous over another woman. Okay? Which also gives us insights on all these men who want to have multiple wives. Guess what? If they both not virtuous, you're going to have some jealousy in there. If you got a Sexy Red and a Sukihana, one of them got to be the bad bee. And they both can't be the baddest. So guess what you're going to be dealing with? You're going to be dealing with two bad bees in a world of grief and a world of sorrow. Because they jealous. This is the reason why the scriptures say, if you get a second wife, you cannot diminish the first. They're going to see that. Your dogs see that. If you get two dogs and your dog used to eating doggone steak and all of a sudden you got them both on dog food because you can't afford two steaks, your dog going to be trying to figure out, since when do you give me processed food? If the dog can do that, your wife is going to be able to do that. And guess what? If you're a woman and you're giving other men more respect than you give the man in your house, You got some women that will respect their boss at work, who will talk to them crazy, fire them, and not give a second notice about them. They will give them more respect than the man that's willing to die for you in the house, paying the bills, making sure things is getting done. Why? He's going to notice that.
Sure is. Or a pastor.
Or even a pastor. You got, especially in these, when you're dealing with religion, these false religions, you got pastors that's getting more respect than the husband. The pastor can tell the wife what to do in the house, but the man cannot tell the wife what, hey, baby, I just need you to make sure this is done. The pastor tell you, hey, I need you to make sure that's done in your house. Yes, pastor. Is there anything else I need to do? Is it maybe a scripture I need to read? Your husband been trying to read Proverbs with you for 3 years. The pastor say, you know what? I want you to read Proverbs today. You gonna read it. That's a big problem.
Pastor sound like master, don't it?
Switch the P. Switch the P, turn it to the M. Pastor, that's the master. And these are the problems that our people don't see. They don't understand it. But guess what? Here's the book right here. We're seeing it now. It's all in the Bible. Verse 7, it says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that have hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. Ain't nobody really trying to get no scorpion. Ain't nobody trying to pick no scorpion up. But if you got an evil wife, it's like dealing with a scorpion. Women, do not become a doggone poisonous, deadly scorpion for your husband who is willing to die for you. Ain't too many men out here willing to die for women nowadays. Ain't too many men willing to take care of women and all the other things that they got to sacrifice just to make a strong foundation. Don't become that scorpion. Verse 8, it says, a drunken woman, and a gatter abroad cause of great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. I see this all the time. Well, you see women, they get drunk, they go out to these clubs, they fall out, go to sleep or whatever, and now they trying to figure out why they didn't woke up smelling like 13 pounds of man milk, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that, or
Yep.
it's
Yep.
especially in today's time, everybody on TikTok, Twitter, and everything else. Now she trying to figure out why she bent over backwards in a dress that's all the way up to her doggone just underneath her butt, and now everybody got pictures all around the world of seeing what doggone thong she was wearing. That's not nothing that she won't cover her own shame.
Cause she outside.
You see what I'm saying? She outside. You know what it is. I'm with my girls.
Period.
Yeah, all of that until the shame come. And then even in that, they don't want to have their shame. Well, you know what, girl, I was drunk. I blame it on the liquor. It is what it is. Come on, man. Verse 9, it says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Men, we know this all too well. You know a woman just from the way, sometimes we already know if we looking at a harlot, and especially if you're in the world. Woman give you that look, or you see the way she moving, you be like, oh yeah, I got this one. This one is easy. In the bag. This is easy.
Paintbrush eyelash.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? These is that's all a part of her not covering her shame. She's a whore and don't mind being that. She's, especially in this Western society, everybody love to be the side chick or the side guy. That just means you're okay with being the harlot.
Yep. Yep.
So as we keep going, verse 10, verse 11, verse 12, it just keeps talking about all these things. Then we get to verse 13. It says, verse 13, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. You hear that? A woman with grace will delight of her husband. Her husband won't have eyes for your husband won't have eyes for no one else if you delight him, if you're a woman of grace. But if you're a woman of harsh words, if you're a woman that's always got something bad to say, or you don't put life into him, you're not fattening his bones. It's right here in the scriptures. Verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. No, you don't want to be silent, because I don't need no man to make me silent. I won't be silenced. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. And that's okay. You can talk. Don't no man want a woman that just walk around the house like a mute. Ain't nobody saying be a mute. But at the same time, be silent and loving. Don't be quick to anger. Don't be quick to spew out fire at your husband. When we did
Blah, 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 blah. I can
yeah,
say whatever I want to say.
it,
Blah, 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 blah.
it remind me of when my wife was on the last class with us. She said, us women know how to calculate just when we're going to say the bad thing that we need to say to our husband, because we know, she said, we know how to say certain things that's going to hit them. Well, why don't, instead of you trying to calculate and find out what's the worst thing to say, be silent and be loving. It's the same thing with a man. What if a man calculated, I'm going to find out just how hard I'm going to hit this woman so I can knock her brains out. Now he's abusive. Guess what? You abusive too if you're using your words. It's just two different types. It's two different types.
Yep, that's the same thing. You know, you got physical, you got mental, you got, you know, it's all kinds of abuse. And today women are good at abusing a man with their mouth. If they don't if they're, you know, the wicked ones. Not all.
Keep going on to 14. It says, and there is nothing much worth as a mind well instructed. Okay, this is what women claim they are. They know everything. Just be a mind well instructed. Show that you are well instructed. Verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace. Y'all hear that? She is a double grace if she's shamefaced and faithful. And her continent mind cannot be valued. That is a high honor. If you are a woman that's so shamefaced, which means you're not prideful, and you're a faithful woman, which we know what that is, it says that is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. What that means is, if I have a woman that's have a continent mind, she's shamefaced and faithful, me as a man, I would probably seek some of her guidance, like, hey, baby, what you think we should do before I make this decision? I want to know, do you think this is a good decision that I'm making? Not saying that you're going to make the decision for him, but maybe he want to see just exactly how you feel about it, because he may have second thoughts. And he knows that your mind is so well that he'll say, you know what? I think I need I think I need my better half to help me out with this decision before I go through with it. That is a mind that cannot be valued. Verse 6,
Right.
as the son.
Let me say this before
Go
you
ahead.
go ahead. See, that's the thing. If a woman, when her mind is so spiritual and she operating so good in the fruits of the spirit, it'll make you want to listen to what she got to say. But if it's nothing but negative foolishness, don't nobody want to listen to that. And then she becomes something. She becomes a great addition to her husband when she's operating in wisdom and understanding and it's nothing but, you know, just operating in the spirit.
That's absolutely right. And that's a true power that women have not figured out how to take. Not all women, but a vast majority of women have not learned how to use that power. The power to be so like how this scripture said, to be so shamefaced and faithful, and even have a continent mind. That is a power where you don't have to argue with your husband over who's gonna have the most power and who got the right to do this and do that, or who make the decisions. Your husband is gonna want to hear you, man. That is man. That is a power. That's a superpower. That's like Samson. If his spiritual power wasn't strength, that's a woman's strength. That's the strength of a woman, man.
Strength of a woman.
We're gonna put that out there. This year, claiming it. But verse 16 it says, as the sun when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. So when you look at women that's out here in the world, which we seen in verses like I guess 5 through, we didn't read them, but 5 through 12, it talks about how you know, these women feel like they're in beauty because they drunk and they out here with the short dress, and you know, they not shamefaced. But now look at the beauty of a righteous woman. It says the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. Okay, that is a beautiful thing when you can come home. You come home to a house that's orderly, is together, is clean. If I didn't just got through doing a hard day's work and I come home and my wife like, hey baby, how was work? The house is clean, kids is maybe quiet. Maybe the kids may not be quiet. That may be something I gotta handle. But at least if the house is more so in order, now I can see a beauty in this woman, unlike what I've seen. It may make me say, you know what? I want to get off work and make sure your back is massaged. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it took a lot for you to put order in this house. So I want to make sure you good, baby.
Facts.
Yeah. So I want to skip all the way down because I don't want to read all the way 1 through 29. I've been trying to jump as much as I can because we already an hour in. I want to jump down to 22, and it says, a harlot shall be accounted as a spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. Think about that, ladies. It's a lot of harlots in the world. Look at what it says a harlot is. A harlot shall be accounted as spittle. The reason why that's so important is because what did the Most High say about the other nations? What did he look at the other nations as?
A
drop,
spit, a
drop,
drop in the bucket,
right? Spittle and a drop.
dung.
Think about that. If the Most High looked at the other nations as spittle and a drop from a bucket, that's the same way how we look at harlots. There ain't nothing but spittle or a drop from a bucket. But watch this. But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. Why is that? Because when you have a woman that's righteous, like we had at it's the scripture says, the fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. If you got a woman like how we read in verse 15 that has a double grace, she's double graced, and she's married to her husband, when she pray, she can beat death. That's a superpower. That's a superpower. Verse 23, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. Here we go again. But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Listen, I'm about to say something that's probably going to upset a lot of women and a lot of men. If you are a woman and you're complaining about these things with your man and you're having problems in your relationship, don't think, oh, I'm the righteous one and he the wicked one. Now, that don't mean you may not be the good one and he the bad one. But best believe both of you all are not righteous. Why? Because you wouldn't have even wanted that if you would have went through the process that you wanted to go, that you should have went through. Same thing for that man. If I'm a man of righteousness, I'm not going to want a sexy red. So if I'm out here with my fringes on, I'm reading the Bible every day. I'm out here, you know, doing everything to look good in the world. But then I get me a sexy red. Guess what? I'm a wicked man in sheep clothing. I'm not going to want that because I'm going to look at a harlot, just like how the scriptures say, they'll be accounted as spittle.
I'm gonna say this. I told my wife this before. I don't know if she believes me or don't believe me. But once what I told her, she don't have to worry about me desiring a woman out in the streets, and they just, I think we had just got together, when, few years back, before we were married and had children and all this and that. But I was telling her, you don't have to worry about me desiring a woman who dressed like a sexy red and a Megan Thee Stallion and all these people, and showing off their body and all that. Cause what that doesn't turn me on. That makes me, it disgusts me, because in my mind, Why are you trying to show it to me for so easily? My what made me, you know what I'm saying, desire a woman. She has herself covered up. I mean, it's been this way for ever. She keep herself covered up, and she ain't trying to show her body to the world. And she still, she, and then she's got a spiritual mind. That's sexy. If I'm using the right word.
No, you're using the right word.
But who want a woman everybody sees naked? That's the reason why there ain't a lot of marriage going on no more.
Exactly.
And that's the reason why men don't want to get married to the women here, and women say the men messed up and all that. But the thing is, people not following what the scriptures say. And you being a man and you following the Most High, you're not gonna want a woman that dress like the women that's outside and that you'll see at the club and all this and that. That don't turn you on. And got some paintbrush for eyelashes and a pound of makeup on and that don't excite you.
Con.
Not when the spirit operating, and you gonna want something. You want somebody that's on the inside.
Con.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm through talking.
Well, no, just going back to what you were saying. When you look at it, like how you said, you got a lot of these men saying where the good women at, and you got a lot of these women saying these men ain't nothing, ain't no good men out here. Well, the real problem is the women are really hurting the women. Just like you said, Hondo, ain't nobody want to see if you out here showing your body to the world. Ain't nobody gonna want you because they done seen it before. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is nothing. There is no. That's like going to and I hate to use this, but like let's say you're doing Christmas and you find out you about to get that toy you always like. Christmas ain't even as I guess it's not
exciting.
It's not as exciting because you already know what you're going to get. You already know the gift that you got. You know how many gifts you're gonna get. You done already actually. It's like it's like somebody give you a game, you played it all year, and then they wrap that game up and put it under the tree and say, "Here go your
Right.
gift, the game that you already had."
Just like this. Didn't mean to cut you off, but you see how accessible porn and women dressings all half naked and just showing off. They got a whole site there for women just showing their naked body, and porn so easy to access. When I was growing up, shoot, we didn't know nothing about that. We just knew, catch an older cat, he had some, one of them books. You know what I'm talking about? But now it's in a man's face so much to, oh well, so what?
It's funny you say that because they got this thing where you can like I guess you can name the different types of booty a female got. Like you may have a pan booty, a has bean booty, a pinto bean booty, a teardrop, an onion, or this. Anytime that you can classify all these different tails, man, that's too much butt that been seen.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's showing too much.
It's showing too much. So now the problem is not where a woman says, well, the good man, that ain't no good man out. No, the problem is all these wicked women is killing these good men. All these wicked women are throwing men don't even want to have nothing to do with women at this point to some degree. And then nowadays, when you in the world, you got a lot of men that's now, especially with these passport bros and all that. Oh no, you don't want to deal with women in America. You want women all across the country. Well, guess what? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and it's the same thing kind of like with these men. You got different classifications. You got do it hang to the left, do it hang to the right, do it go straight up, do it go straight down, do it is it wide, is it thick, is it skinny, is it little, is it tall? Come on, man, it's too much that's too readily accessible. for the world. And this is the reason why modesty and what is the word I'm looking for? Virtue, modesty, all these different things. This is why it is so important. Most of the good women is being taken up by good men. And most of the wicked women is being taken up by wicked men. That's what the scriptures are saying. So if you call yourself a righteous woman for whatever reason you think you're a righteous woman for, but you constantly finding wicked men, you need to search within yourself. Because again, ain't
Yep.
no man gonna want a sexy red. And I'm pretty sure ain't no woman gonna want no what's that gay guy? Nas, what is his name? Nas X? Lil Nas X. Ain't
Yeah,
no
yeah,
woman looking
yeah.
for no Lil Nas. But every time if every time you find a man he a Lil Nas X, you probably hanging around too many homosexuals as it is. And for some
Or
reason,
or what's the cat name? I can't remember. Never mind. I was trying to tell you about, this young cat here, a rapper. Uh, I heard some youngsters talk about.
oh man, they out. It's so many undercovers out here now. It's almost unbelievable, to be totally honest. Ever since this P Diddy stuff been going on, we didn't heard about some of the worst, some of just the I would even say the worst artists, but even some of the greatest artists that people love. These people is, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, you got
Yep, it might be Young Thug.
Young Thug. Yeah, you got Young Thug. You got I can't even think of the dude that they had what is that dude? Meek Mill. Meek Mill. They had a
Well,
doggone
he pretty much an older cat now.
Meek Mill or Young Thug.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, they
Meek
pretty much
Mill. He like
yeah,
somewhere around our age, somewhere around there.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But you know but yeah. But
But yeah,
Young Thug, he in his 20s though. He in his 20s.
for sure, for sure. I guess I want to finish with this. I want to finish with Ecclesiasticus. I'm gonna be done with it. But as you read from verse 1 through verse 29, as well as all of the other scriptures that we've brought out in Sirach, you will see how the basically the layout is set there on what the difference is between a wicked woman versus a righteous woman. And we have to know our role. It's very important. That's the reason why the name of these segments is called Know Your Place. You have to know your place. You got a lot of people thinking that they righteous men and righteous women, the diddler. I love it. But you
Oh,
got
no Diddy.
to know of it. But yeah, you got a lot of these people thinking that they so great and they really fooling themselves. They don't know their place. If you are a harlot, that's the place that you in. You're a righteous woman, that's the place that you in. If you somewhere in the middle, ain't no such thing as the middle. You can't have two masters. So you just might as well just go ahead on over there with the harlot. You can't be both. You got to either be righteous or you got to be wicked. Period.
Yep.
Okay. I think I want to get a little bit out of Sirach because we've been Sirach all day. I know you like Proverbs, Hondo. You want to do something in Proverbs? Yo, Hondo.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish with Proverbs 31.
All right.
10 through 31.
Let me write.
Whenever you get through with what you yeah.
No, we're gonna go. I'm gonna let you have the floor. I want to get on up out of Sirach because I told you I get to ranting. I get to ranting. But you say Proverbs, you wanna read anything before Proverbs 31?
No, I think we covered enough today.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's
You know what I'm saying?
31 and what?
Verse 10 through 31.
Proverbs 31, verse 10 through 31. You got it.
All right. And it reads, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have, I ain't got on my glasses, no need of spoil. She will do him good and evil, not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and works willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night and gives meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it with the fruit of her hands. She plants a vineyard. She girds her loins with strength and strengthens her arms. Okay, you see, this woman ain't lazy right here. No such thing as man, take care of me. A high value man. And I'm gonna sit around and do nothing, look pretty. No, she work too. She but now where I stop at?
You was on
Verse 20. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the field of the land. She makes fine linen and sells it and delivers girdles unto the merchant. She do a lot of stuff. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looks well to the ways. She be quiet, baby. She looks well to the ways of her household, and eats not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excelleth them all. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Now,
Con.
I think that was a good ending to a good lesson today. You know what I'm saying? That pretty much summarized everything that we've been saying that was said, in this teaching today. And on that note, I'm gonna turn you over to T1 to give his last words.
One thing I do want to say, Hondo, is when you do these scriptures, these ending scriptures, they do be very powerful, and I thank the Most High for that, man. Because even just looking at these scriptures, man, it made me think, just thinking about the role of even myself and even in my household. It's like, okay, you know, I was blessed to be a provider in my household, just like as well as you, and we provide. And just looking at it is like, how it says the woman is like she looks at a piece of land and then she puts fruit and vegetables on it with her hands. She tills and plants on that land with her hands. And it's all about order, right? So it's like the man is giving this woman all the tools she needs to keep order. So I'm giving her the house, she's decorating it. She want this big backyard, I'm gonna give her an acre. She's gonna make an acre work like ain't never been worked before. You see what I'm saying? And then even like how we read and it says she's not giving over into idleness, she's giving into the ways of her household. So if you see that it's a problem in your household that needs to be fixed, that don't necessarily mean you have to work for the other nation to get it done. Now that doesn't mean you don't have to work. But what I'm looking at is just like Hondo said, she's doing a lot of things too. And it remind me of when people come to my house, right? They always say, Anthony, your house looks so well, and you know, is really well crafted and well dealt with. And I be thinking to myself, like, man, eh, and I even say this too. I don't just think it, but I say this. I say, you know, my wife is the one that decorated this house. She's the one that all I did was, you know, put the house here, or got the house. You know, even with the car. You know, sometimes I forget to wash the car. She'll go and wash the car. She'll put like little like she got some seat coverings and different things for it. She done decorated the kids' room, but it's like when people give praise to that, I'm known for that. People say, "Man, Tony house is really nice," but it's not off my hands. It's really off my wife. She builds me in that
Right,
area.
right.
In that area, you see what I'm saying? And that alone is enough to bring about a lot of blessings and virtue to the home. So that scripture really, I don't know, that one touched me real good, Hondo. I wasn't expecting that one, man. You always do bring something great though to the table, and this one it really touched me on a personal level.
All praise to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High. What I do want to say is to all those that's out here watching, if there's anything, any questions you may have, ask us. We most definitely will take the time to answer those questions for you. We ask that you support us by liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving your comments. We love all those that have come and watched and stood with us today. We hope you got a lot out of this lesson. We had a lot more that we could have said, but I don't want to say too much. You know, we don't want to give it all to you in one sitting or in two sittings. You know. So with that being said, that's all I got to say. Check out some of the new music that's out there that's Hondo's making. Hondo, why don't you tell them about the new songs you got coming up and the new projects?
Well. Okay. Well, I got a lot of stuff coming out. I got a one single I did with this with Jamel the Trunk Rattler, you know what I'm saying? Another Mississippi cat, you know what I'm saying? And it's called Trapped in Darkness. Then I got another song I did with Yapa Q. You know, she lived down this way too. So it's it's called One Time, something a little different. You know, it's a Ame piano beat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's pretty nice. You know, I like to do something different. I don't like to do what everybody else do. But yeah, and then I'm working on 2 projects right now. One that goes with that song Trapped in Darkness is actually a project that I'm doing. I'm really, it's like a testimonial thing when how the Most High brought me from darkness into light. So it's a testimony in my life, you know, when I was living wicked and how he brought me into, you know, into living for him, you know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be a thing, you know. I just gotta get it, mixed down and mastered and everything. And then I'm coming with that Fishes and Hunters 2 collaboration. Gotta get T1 Lone Wolf on the song on there too.
Con.
But also, me and Judah Matthias, the third, been working on the album. We putting that out real soon. As soon as we get that cover done, we gonna drop that. So you can be looking for that no later than first of next month. First around that time, you know what I'm saying? But me and Judah son been working on something for about 3 years. We gonna get it done eventually.
Con. And you know what? I want to say this too, Hondo.
Yeah.
Man, I support Tales from the Sip. If y'all haven't watched any of those, man, go on the channel and watch Tales from the Sip.
Oh yeah. I'm dropping a new episode Wednesday too. for that. I just on Tales from the Silk. I'm actually telling stories that came out of my life, or things I've seen, things I experienced. You know what I'm saying? And it is all true stories. There ain't nothing fake about it. Nothing me just making nothing up. This is real life things that happen. Some of it, you know what I'm saying, is dealing with a lot of spiritual things that took place. Sometimes is just little things that happen in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Just check that out. How do you pick your instrumentals, Hundo? Whatever sound good.
Yep, that's pretty much how it works. Whatever sound good. Also,
Yep.
you know what, Hondo and me, y'all stay tuned for Strength of a Woman. That'll be coming out real soon. Strength of a Woman. That'll
Yes,
be coming
sir.
out. I'm also working on some music with a brother named Black Rock Baltimore, Yahoo J, Yosef. I got a lot of things going on with Reggie Kodesh. So I got a new album coming out. All y'all know, I haven't done an album in about a year or more.
Yeah.
And it's time for me to get up off my duff. So y'all stay
Yeah.
tuned. Stay tuned. And one thing I love to do, man, I love working with my brother Hondo here. Whenever we put a song out, man, it's always a banger.
Yes, sir.
And my last album, it was truly a hit. I thank the Most High for that. And I'm gonna be back out here. Also, tell me about the show you're gonna be doing.
Oh
Tell me about the
yeah.
show you're doing.
Yeah. Got an event coming up next weekend in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Memphis, Tennessee. And
Live
that
performance.
yeah. Live performances. There's gonna be a lot of great artists there. You know what I'm saying? Uh I'm one of the artists gonna be performing. You're gonna have Reggie Kodesh gonna be there. Jamel the Trunk Rattler gonna be there. Um man, it's gonna be a lot of cats. Hurt 2.0, Akanal gonna be there. You're gonna have a lot of good artists, man. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. And that the performance is gonna be that Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock p.m. But it's a 3-day event. The starting at Thursday. You know what I'm saying, with the meet and greet and other things, and then Friday, they're gonna go down and gonna hit the streets. You know what I'm saying, and do some bring some word to the people. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be a lot of things going on, you know what I'm saying, next weekend. Yes, sir. But if you're in Memphis, slide through.
So with that being said, man, y'all stay tuned for the next Know Your Place. We'll be putting it out there for you all again next Saturday, same time, 3 o'clock. Forgive us for the last Saturday. Certain things arose that we weren't able to do it last Saturday, but we plan on staying in tune and staying on our regularly scheduled program. Again, if you can, like, share, subscribe, and support. We appreciate that. It goes a long way for us. Thank you. Hondo, you could close it out.
Yes, sir. He gonna be there too. A lot of people. But yes, sir. Faith in Israel. A lot of people gonna be there.
Yeah, we both do music. Yeah, I've been doing music for
Yeah.
years. Yep.
Yep.
I
We both do music.
I just slowed down for a while. I kind of was on halt for a while, just making sure I had the home front together and, just doing everything I could. I got a lot of brothers and sisters who I fellowship with out this way. We do the feast days and different things like that, making sure that we ain't just talking, but we also walking. But yeah,
Right.
we both do we both do music too. The music ministry is very important to me and Hondo, and I tell you, it's always a blessing to do a song with my brother Hondo here.
Yes, sir. It's always a blessing to do it. Yeah, we're gonna get T1 back in the saddle of handling his business with that music. You know what I'm saying? Blah. But yeah, thing is, we hope you got a good listen today and some good understanding, and we pray that you like, share, subscribe, and catch us next time. We're gonna be talking about the cheering, ain't we?
Con, we could talk about the children.
Yeah. Yep. We started off with yeah. It's about the children now. Next time. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what the children got, see what they got, what path they got to take. And there's nothing else. Shabbat shalom. You have a good day. Appreciate being here with everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and peace out.